So let's take a look at our agenda today. First, we're going to take an industry's perspective look at cloud calling, or UC as a service, right? We'll take a look at what Gartner has to say regarding the status and future of cloud calling. Next, we'll take a look at business drivers that are impacting organizations to move to the cloud, right, for their voice and collaboration applications. We'll take a look at Cisco's cloud offering, which is Webex Calling, and the details around that solution. And finally, we'll take a look at what makes cloud deployment successful, right? We'll review migration options for moving to Webex Calling and how Aspire can help you on that journey to the cloud, right? As well as how our customer success team, headed by Selena Newhouse, who's on the call, can help drive adoption and successful business outcomes. So let's take a look at the industry perspective for cloud calling. Gartner reports are highly respected in multiple industries, right? They're one of the best resources to leverage cloud calling landscape shifts that may have taken place since 2019. Gartner defines UC as a service as a cloud-based software that delivers most of the same functions as on-premise unified communications platforms, right? So we're talking about telephony, meetings, messaging, and mobility, right? With the coronavirus pandemic forcing a large majority of workforce to go remote, right? Cloud calling solutions have quickly become more important and more viable than ever. Gartner reports by 2022, 74% of organizations will move at least 5% of their normally full-time on-site workers who had switched to working from home temporarily into permanent remote working positions, right? So it's a huge number of workers moving into the remote workforce, right? Organizations need to be ready to meet these collaboration needs, at home or anywhere else, their users may be working from. Second, Gartner believes that by 2024, 74% of new UC licenses will be cloud-based, right? An increase from 48% in 2019, right? So Gartner has the market for UC trending heavily toward cloud in these next couple of years. So next, we'll take a look at the business drivers that are pushing organizations to move to the cloud, including that remote workforce and some other key business drivers. Right, so breaking down the benefits of cloud-based telephony, it's clear to see why many organizations are making the switch, right? So here are some key business drivers organizations are sort of pushing organizations, for making that move to the cloud. The first driver is sort of a CapEx to OpEx move, right? So moving large capital expenses typically seen in prem deployments with hardware and software purchases to more of an OpEx model, right? Where organizations are looking to move the cost to more repeatable, ongoing price for running their voice platform, right? Calling solutions have sort of become a commodity, right? They're sort of a must-have. So with cloud, your expenses can be repeatable once they're moved to that OpEx cost, right? There's no need for costly hardware and software upgrades every 3 to 5 years, right? As with prem solutions, updates are pushed from the cloud, and there's typically minimal, on-site hardware, if any, needed for these solutions, right? So with the OpEx model, right, all your support costs, all your maintenance costs, even the hardware that you do have to purchase can be built into a monthly price, right? Saving you any large capital purchases, right? So this move to OpEx model, really helps businesses have a clear understanding, of the costs over time, for their calling and collaboration services. The next driver is, reducing that IT burden, right? So these solutions offer an ease of management via a single pane of glass, right? Typically a cloud portal, right? That's simple to use and easy to navigate, right? Cloud is desirable for organizations with low IT staff and can operate with a low level of expertise within that staff, right? So typically level 1 admins, are comfortable performing most of the administrative tasks, right? Which saves money not having to employ, higher skilled employees, CCIE level staff, right? On that point, right, prem solutions, are typically harder to manage, right? Do require, skilled resources and do involve, prem hardware and software that need to be managed as opposed to a cloud solution. Right, so, cloud deployments remove that complexity, right, from your voice and collaboration. And this can be appealing to a lot of organizations across the board. The next driver is aligning with your existing DR strategy and remote workforce need, right? So cloud calling solutions take advantage of your existing network redundancy and survivability, right? So there's no need for additional prem build outs or anything like that, right? Everything runs OTT over the top, right? Connecting to the internet. And this is going to align with sort of your existing network strategy today, right? Cloud calling is very reliable, especially what we'll talk about today, which is Webex calling, right? Their reliability is 99.99% uptime, right? And then specifically with Cisco and their globally available data centers for failover, right? Makes this, Webex calling solution a rock solid from an availability perspective, right? So with the baseline technology only needing internet access, right? You're able to service the remote workforce with the collaboration tools that they'll need, and that becomes easy, right? So we're talking calling, meetings, Teams, contact center, can all be accessed anywhere on any device, right? So getting these collaboration tools out to your teams who are remote becomes inherent with the cloud technology. And sort of the final business driver, right? Helping organizations standardize on collaboration technology across the organization, right? So the ability for these platforms to deliver collaboration anywhere on any device, right, allows organizations to promote standardization on these tools, right? Breaking any silos of the tools that may be throughout the company. You may have some departments using this meetings platform, some departments using a different Teams platform, right? So being able to deliver all these collaboration tools successfully, improve standardization, and adoption of the technology, right? Cisco is able to do this via their all-in-one Webex app, right? And Selena's going to touch on how Aspire can help with the adoption of the app and the tools within, right? So as standardization happens, right, user productivity goes up, satisfaction rises within the organization. Whenever everyone's sort of able to clearly communicate across the organization in an effective way, promoting that cross, organizational collaboration, right? So there are a number of key, business drivers, motivating organizations to moving to the cloud. And next, we're going to take a look at Cisco's offering, which is Webex Calling. So Webex Calling is basically Cisco's cloud offering, right? So you may hear Webex and think sort of the meetings platform that we're on today, but branding from Cisco has made the term Webex synonymous with cloud, right? So Webex Calling is their cloud calling platform. There's Webex Teams, Webex Meetings, which is their cloud meetings and Teams platform, and then Webex Contact Center are all solutions delivered, from the Cisco cloud. So one of the main drivers that Webex Calling hits on is that alignment with the DR strategy and then the ability to service the remote workforce, right? Webex Calling is a fault-tolerant architecture with geo-redundant data centers. We talked about that 99.99% reliability and uptime, right, with Cisco's globally available data centers for failover, right? So endpoints, data, and traffic, failover within chosen regions, right? So you won't be connecting to data centers outside the U.S., right, for your U.S. locations, unless you had to for some reason. Webex Calling is highly secure, right? So all calls are encrypted by default using secure signaling and media, right? So TLS, transport layer security, SRTP, secure real-time protocol for your secure signaling and media. All right, there's single sign-on across all Webex services for authentication and authorization. And Cisco's data centers are SOC 2 compliant up to FedRAMP compliant, right? So if you're a FedRAMP customer, there are options out there for you. And then as with Cisco, everything's highly secure, right? So you can be sure that all your data is sort of well protected and encrypted. Webex Calling is highly scalable, right? So the ability to leverage a quick turn up of new services for the organization if you need to expand, right? So that's expanding, with adding users, or if you need to expand it to new services like meetings or contact center, right? This can be done super quick on the fly. The platform can scale, into the hundreds, thousands of users, right? If you need that sort of expansion. And then later we'll talk about the Collaboration Flex Plan, which is Cisco's subscription-based license model. This allows organizations to turn up these other collaboration services easily, right? So adding users, adding meeting, adding contact center can be just a quick adjustment, to your existing subscriptions, and you're on your way, right? So Webex Calling checks the box with an ease of management and reduced IT driver, right, with the single pane of glass management. Cisco's Cloud Management Portal is the control hub, right? So this is where you're going to configure all your enterprise site features, your user features, and your global settings. So the control hub is really nothing like Prem Communications Manager, right? If you've ever dealt with it, or a lot of other Prem solutions, that are out there, right? Everything in the control hub is much simpler and easy to use and intuitive, right? Everything's in plain English, right? So all your MACDs, all your troubleshooting can be handled a lot easier. Then you have all your reporting, call analytics, right? They're built right into the cloud, and you can kind of take a look into your environment day to day and sort of a peek into its overall health. From a feature functionality perspective, right? Webex calling, all the features delivered, via Webex calling meet the needs of our customers today, right? Cisco's really closed the gap between their Prem solution and Webex calling, feature wise, right? So are still some organizations out there that need to keep their, solutions on-prem, for a number of reasons. They may be using, let's say Prem-based, feature sets, but from a business telephony, UCaaS perspective, Webex calling checks all the feature boxes. Phone deployment is simple, right? Simple and easy. Plug into a PoE port, and you enter a 16-digit code, activation code. The phone registers with the cloud, and your users are on their way, right? Another driver that Webex satisfies is that that delivers the standardization and integrated collaboration tools, right? So what makes this Webex calling solution so successful is that all-in-one Webex app, right? So the Webex app offers integrated calling, voicemail, meetings, Teams, and device share from anywhere on any device, right? And there's sort of that consistent user experience, right? So there's no need for any other applications, right? It's a one-stop shop, for all of those collaboration tools, right? And we do see organizations leaving the physical phones behind, right? And just sort of using the Webex app, right? The Webex app is so robust, and it is such an integrated experience that, physical phones, aren't necessary for every organization nowadays. So definitely a game changer, for Webex calling is that all-in-one Webex app. And then finally, there's a number of Solutions Plus partners that work, together with Cisco and integrate into Webex calling to provide additional feature sets. One of those partners is Dubber, which provides call recording, voicemail transcription, and AI sentiment ratings of the recorded calls. And then another is Red Sky. Red Sky offers E911 feature set for compliance with the Ray-Bomb Act, right? And they're providing a dispatchable location to the PSAP, which is what that act is centered around doing, right? They provide phone tracking and automatic location updating for the phones, and an on-site emergency notification that 911's been dialed. Right? So that's Red Sky. And Red Sky is actually teaming up with Single Wire and Formacast. So this is exciting news coming down the pike. So Red Sky is teaming up with Single Wire to integrate Informacast emergency notification feature set into the Webex calling platform, right? So being able to use Informacast with Webex calling is coming down the pike. So next we'll take a look at the devices for Webex calling. So Cisco has the industry best, endpoints, right, from the 7800 to 8800 series phones, right, to the Webex video devices that you see on the screen, right. As said, we do see organizations moving away from moving away from hard phones and just sort of using soft phones. So using the Webex app and the Cisco headset can be all you need, to get your staff off and running. If your organizational decision is to roll out physical endpoints, right, the newer model phones are required for Webex calling. And if you do have existing 78 and 8800 series phones, Aspire can help you migrate to the multi-platform firmware that's needed to run, Webex calling, right? From a video perspective, right, Cisco has the best, video endpoints with the Webex Desk, Kit, Room, Board, and Panorama series. So video works seamlessly with Webex calling. The video endpoints will register with the cloud as well. They can integrate with calendaring services for scheduling, one button to push for single join button into Webex meetings. The video endpoints, can SIP URI dial, and they can dial PSTN, right, if they're given that functionality, from Webex calling. So basically everything delivered on the cloud side, for video, works seamlessly together with Webex calling on the voice side, right? So that's really something that Cisco does well. To that point, let's talk about PSTN options for WebEx calling, right? So there's two options for PSTN and WebEx calling. The first is what Cisco calls Cloud Connected PSTN, or CCP, right? This is PSTN access through direct peering with Cisco data centers by approved PSTN carriers, right? So there's a number of carriers to choose from, right? Cisco does offer their own calling plans as well, right? So if you're looking for sort of a one-stop shop, one throat to choke, right, for collaboration and PSTN, Cisco can offer that for you. Or, if you want to choose one of the other carriers, they are peering directly with Cisco data centers, to provide PSTN, to DIDs and the minutes plans, right? So that's Cloud Connected PSTN. The second option is what they call a local gateway design, or PSTN via local gateway. So what this means is PSTN through a local gateway device that's on the organization site, right, with local PSTN trunks, right? So for this deployment, an organization would need ISR 4000 series gateway or CSR 1000V virtual gateway. We're basically bridging the functionality between the prem and the cloud, right? The benefit here is for customers who like their existing PSTN carrier, maybe can't get out of their contract, or want to be able to own the local connection. Cisco does offer this design. So along with that local gateway deployment, right, comes the ability to integrate WebEx calling with any existing Cisco Prem deployments or third-party PBXs, right? So the local gateway design makes the Prem cloud integration possible, right? So if your journey to the cloud is phased, or your journey to the cloud is hybrid, right, local gateway is there sort of to make this integration happen. And we'll talk about, those integrations as well. Finally, we'll talk about how WebEx calling is licensed, right? So we mentioned earlier the Collaboration Flex Plan, which is Cisco's subscription-based licensing model. Plans for WebEx are typically 1, 3, and 5 years, can be billed monthly, annually, or in a prepaid term, right? There's an enterprise agreement for organizations over 250 users, and then there's a named agreement for those under 250 users. Organizations who've already invested in the Flex Plan, let's say you have a Prem-based Flex Plan licensing, right, can easily flex their subscription into the cloud, flex their license into the cloud, and then pay any difference, in licensing cost. But it can all be flexed and adjusted within that same subscription, right? WebEx meetings can be included with your calling subscription. So Cisco does offer significant bundling for consuming, calling and meetings together, right? So if you're looking for, if you have WebEx Teams, if you have WebEx meetings and you're looking at calling, know that, consuming both together will get you some bundled pricing, right? So next we'll take a look at what makes a successful WebEx calling deployment and how Aspire can help you with that, right? So what makes, a deployment successful? Basically Aspire's consulting and professional services, right? So there's a number of ways Aspire can help you migrate your current voice environment to the cloud. First would be a complete migration to the cloud, right? For all users and sites. With Aspire's professional services, we can, sort of seamlessly make, this transition for you and your organization to WebEx calling, right? Second would be the phased approach, right? So WebEx calling, as I said, has a number of design scenarios, and with the local gateway we had talked about earlier, we can integrate Prem solutions with the Cisco WebEx cloud, right? So for customers who want to do a proof of concept or move a subset of users or sites or branches to the cloud first, right? That is available from the phased approach, right? And then, let's say they want to do a full migration at some point later on, that's sort of a phased approach where that integration is possible, and then sort of a phased approach of sites and users to the cloud, right? And third is sort of that journey to cloud that's hybrid, where we talked about, which is customers who need Prem and they need cloud, right? So this is obviously having some sites or some users in the cloud and some on-prem, right? Cisco offers sort of centralized dialing plans and features via the cloud, right? And with the local gateway, bridging the cloud and Prem right? We can service users and sites and have them remain, in either, right? So Webex Cloud is able to help do that and fully integrate prem, with cloud, right? So the integrations are there. Aspire Consulting and Professional Services can help you walk through all the scenarios, depending on what your need is, right? Depending where your journey is to the cloud or is or isn't, right? So our deployment team will help obviously migrate your existing prem or cloud environment to Webex Calling. Our deployment team will do a technical discovery, solutions planning, right, to ensure that we migrate all your all your configurations, all your site features, user features, to the cloud. And obviously, we'll train you, your IT staff, on how to manage and administer Webex Calling, and train your end users, on any of the endpoints and the Webex application, right? So finally, we can provide adoption services too, right, and ongoing support, right, which is a key differentiator for Aspire, right, so that your organization and your users get the most out of Webex Calling, right? So Selena, who's here, is our customer success manager. She's going to go into more detail around the customer success team and how they can help with the adoption and support of Webex Calling.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our customer experience strategy is a company-wide strategy. We want to ensure that the outcomes of every exchange of our customers here at Aspire delivers a positive and meaningful experience. We want to deliver high-value interactions with all of our customers to ensure that your journey is maximized and that you are realizing your investment and reaching your business outcomes. We have dedicated teams around enablement, adoption, and customer satisfaction. Customer success is ongoing here, and it's what we do. We've built a framework around our customer success practice that focuses on 3 items: adoption, onboarding, and optimization. We align your solutions with outcomes, with KPIs and specific measurements, and we pull together a customer success plan in conjunction with your teams. We help our customers with adoption by managing, planning, and measuring the solution and identifying actions and resources to earn a faster return on the business value for the investment that you've put into the solution. We look to optimize and evaluate functionality, usage, and implementation to reinforce the outcomes of the solution throughout our customer's environment. Additionally, we can also provide managed services. Managed services is a great fit for organizations that don't have resources internally to take on ongoing management of solutions, or like many, choose to focus their limited internal IT resources on more strategic initiatives and outsource their ongoing operational aspects to Aspire. Here is just a high-level overview of our managed service portfolio. Aspire can be an extension of your IT team that is available 24/7, managing your environment and keeping your business up and running. The added benefit of working with Aspire Managed Service is we utilize our service delivery team as escalation points for our managed services, which provides you access to CCIE level expertise to address complex issues. Lastly, I just wanted to highlight some of our achievements. We find great pride in them. Specifically, we are one of 14 Cisco Gold partners who have achieved at least 4 or more masters. We are one of top 50 Cisco partners in the U.S., and the one that I hold true to my heart is we are one of 26 partners in the U.S. that have achieved the advanced Cisco certification around customer success. Thank you all for attending.